guys, listen to this.
Growing up, who was already very much present and alive, but nobody had noticed him. Nobody had noticed that.
Hello, PFCC present and future mixing engineers. So I was listening to the sermon recently, and a lot of feedback was happening. And even though whoever was on sound was trying to fix it, it didn't quite work. So in this video, I want to teach you about how to get rid of feedback. My hope is that we no longer have feedback in the future, or if it does happen, we know how to control it, and we know how to act quickly to control it, and so that you gain more confidence in the X32 and in mixing in general. So first off, I actually have been, not have been, but I visited a few churches recently, and in all cases, feedback still happens in other churches. Although once they hear it, whoever's on the mixer corrects their mistake quickly. Feedback happens because sound is cycling from the microphone to the speaker, back into the microphone, and then back into the speaker. And this can happen directly, or it can happen indirectly as sound bounces from walls back into the speaker. The best way to avoid this is to install acoustic panels like that one right behind me, right there. Another way is to keep your speakers in front of the microphone, and in my case, where my setup here is, I can't do that because I need to hear what is actually happening, and I'm on a computer. That's why in the last video there was a lot of feedback happening, and hey, it happens, especially when you're recording, you're not really listening to all the different frequencies as you're talking, right? So acoustic panels would be great, but all right. So acoustic panels would be great, and having speakers in front of the microphones would be great. If you have speakers in front, then the only way that sound waves could bounce is into the walls and then back to the speakers or back to the microphones. And then if you have acoustic panels, then it'll get absorbed and it'll scatter the sound, right? So let me try and get a demonstration here. So do you guys remember this picture from the mixing manual? So speakers are here, and then this is the pulpit, right? So usually this speaker is in front, but in our case we can't. So the speaker is in line, so it will pick up some of that sound coming from there, right? So if we move these in front here, then it won't be able to pick up that sound. And then as well, as the sound bounces from there to there, if we have some sort of absorption right here, right, then the sound won't bounce back into the microphone. I hope that makes it clear. But our current church, is filled with windows, and we like to put the blinds up. So that means more sound waves can bounce into the microphone. So how do we do it? What can we do? How do we gain control back from the sound? Those that are already mixing are already doing some of the techniques, and yay, kudos to you. I'll go through all our ways of eliminating sound at PFCC with you today. They include positioning the speakers, muting the mics so that when they are not in use, it won't create echoes, and the one that is most difficult is EQ through the mixer. So, this picture is actually our first line of defense when it comes to feedback. We position the speakers so that they are facing the center. They are facing the center of the rows. This makes it easier to predict every week to week, how the sound waves will go. On top of that, the blinds left and right of the pillar. So pretend that's the pillars. The left, right here, behind the presenter, the projector person, and the door, and then also the blinds here are never raised or should never be raised. Right? So the blinds are acting as an acoustic panel, right? And that helps so that when it hits the panel, it kind of absorbs the force, and then it doesn't bounce back to the pastor, right? When they are raised, however, they will bounce back, and it will sound awful. So make sure that these blinds are never raised. Okay, so positioning, that's our first one. Secondly, I'm going to stick to this page, is something that you guys do already. We mute the mics so that they do not they do not produce any unwanted echoes when the mics are not in use. So it's not technically feedback, but imagine the pastor preaching here, and let's say this mic is still on here, right? So when she talks, her voice would project into this mic here and create an echo, right? And it will sound, double of what is actually spoken, and it'll feel weird. It can sometimes lead to feedback from that bounce, right? So we don't want that. We mute all the mics. Very easy, just on the recording tablet or on the X32, just press all the mutes on the DCA. Yeah. Lastly, we can EQ the feedback out. say that we have positioned the speakers correctly and we have muted all the microphones. It still has feedback. What do we do? So what you are going to do is you're going to scroll to Pastor's channel, because that's the one that usually has feedback. Whoever's speaking that day, basically. So you're going to press the channel 17 to 32. You're going to press Pastor's channel on whatever it was, 29 or 30 or 24, whatever it was. And then you're going to press View, right? This View button on the EQ. And what pops up is this, right? You're going to see some weird EQ graph, and you're going to look for something that builds up. So you're going to see something like that happening. And wherever it is, you're going to just move the channel here, or even this one, over that way, and then and then go down with the gain. So scroll with the frequency, right? And then you're gonna go counterclockwise with the gain. Well, for me, that's counterclockwise. For you, is probably that when you look at this video. So that's the first technique. Okay. Let's say, oh, wait. I hear a feedback, but this thing doesn't build up. What do I do? Right? So what you're going to do is you're going to hit meters. Okay? When you're at meters, you're going to scroll all the way to RTA. RTA. Okay? At RTA, you're going to increase this decay up to 3 seconds. 3 seconds. And what this will do is, instead of just holding it for 1 second and then the feedback goes away, right? Because it'll be like, and then this slowly disappears, right? It'll stay for 3 seconds long. So 3 seconds long, and then you'll be able to see it longer and have more reaction time in order to find that frequency and to delete it. Okay? There's a reason why I put it at 18, because that recording that we had, that I first showed in this video, it was at this 18K hertz. So let's say that doesn't work, or, oh, I don't have enough channels because I only have 4 here or 5 here that is actually all used up. So what do I do? Well, we actually have 4 redundancies. This is layer 1 of the redundancy. Layer 2, still selected on Pastor's channel. Still selected on, oh, we're going to give her purple because she's purple. Still selected on Pastor's channel, right? And we just press View, right, on the EQ. We're going to press the effects. And when we press that, it'll bring us to this page. Pastor's mic, channel 25. That's the channel she's on. And you'll see this. And under it, you will be able to also see what oh, I'm just thinking right now out loud that this should be highlighted. Let me hide it properly. This should be highlighted so that we're seeing the post RTA and not the current. But say that is highlighted and we see that, oh, there's a spike there or a spike there. Then we can scroll over with this wheel, right? And that will bring this yellow box all the way over here, right? And then we bring down whatever channels or whatever frequencies we need to bring down. So we see, again, I will say it again, if we see that there are two, like, different frequencies over here that are peaking and aren't going away, we can assume that those are the feedback frequencies. We're going to scroll over with this yellow box, with this scroll wheel, all the way to the right. And then once it's there, we can bring down the frequencies. Okay, so that's redundancy number 2. Say, however, all these faders, all these knobs or whatever they are all down here. Right? So there's no more room to bring the frequency down. What do? We are going to go back to this mixer. We're going to select, and so this is actually a kind of a hackish way of doing things. It's not the best, but I care about people hearing pastor clearer, so, and not so much the worship as much. So we're going to select the main. Okay. And then, so this is the main channel. This is what the speakers hear or are sending out, right? All these channels here are what we hear or what the microphone is picking up. These are the channels that the microphone is picking up. But this one is what the speakers are sending out. Speaker is sending out. Okay? So when we hit this button and then we go to view on the EQ, we get something like this, but it'll have more channels. It will be having 6 channels instead of the 5. On top of that, in the 6 channels, there is no low cut. But there are 6. So what that means is, if, let's say, again, there's a peak here that we can hear or we can see. What do? Well, we're just going to scroll over as much as we can. And we're going to scroll over as much as we can without, creating other feedback or whatever. And we're just going to bring the gain down, bring this knob down. Sometimes we might need to use the Q as well. So what the Q does, instead of having a small curve like this, it'll have the same highest point, but just widen widen the whole mountain or the peak, right? So say, for example, the feedback is right there. I'm going to use a different color. Feedback is right there, and I have a peak right here, and this was the closest one. I don't have any more other channels, right? Then I can increase that Q, increase this Q all the way down, all the way down, so that this peak would be covering a little bit of that frequency. And hopefully that'll bring that feedback down and have that feedback go away. Now, say that doesn't work. What do we do? So that was redundancy number 3, right? So we had the first one being selecting pastor's channel, going to EQ, and then doing the EQ through her channel, through her mic, so that the mic doesn't pick it up. But there's not enough EQ slots. So second one was going to effects, off of pastor's channel, and then going into this graph, right? But if that's all down, what do? Well, we do it on the output side. We select the speaker main, go to this button again, and we bring the EQ down. Well, you might have guessed already, but the last one is selecting this button, again, the main of the speakers, and we press effects. That will give us this screen again. Okay? And instead of Pastor and Courtney here, it'll say, main left and main right, something like that. And you're going to play with that again and then bring those EQs down. Does that make sense? So, to demonstrate, we are going to play that, so I can close these. Close that. To demonstrate, we are going to listen to that sermon again.
It's important. So it's important for the Christian to know.
So it's around here. I am gonna record my screen off my phone, and hopefully I can download it onto the PC and then show you what I'm doing on the screen. Okay.
What this season is about.
I'm in the program.
But it's important too for the one who's still searching to know why you don't yet believe. And I think the Gospel of John helps us to do that. We've been in this mini Advent series looking not at the traditional Christmas story where we have the angels and the shepherds and the magi, but we're looking at the theology of Christmas. We get a theology primer in the book of John. And that's really important because it helps us understand what Christmas means, why Christmas is such a big deal, and it is a very big deal. So we're going to be in John chapter 1, verses 6 to 13, and I invite you to hear these very good words. There was a man sent from God whose name was John. He came as a witness to testify concerning that light, so that through him all might believe. He himself was not the
All
light.
right, I'm gonna
He
skip
came
a
only
few
as a
parts
witness
until I
to
hear
the
it.
light.
Okay, so
The
see you.
true light that gives light to everyone was coming into the world. He was in the world, and though the world was made through him, the world did not recognize him. He came to that which was his own, but his own did not receive him. The world, and though the world was made through him, the world did not recognize him. He came to that which was his own, but his own did not receive him. Yet to all who did receive him, to those who believed in his name, he gave the right to become children of God. Children
I'm
born
not
not
sure
of
if you
natural
heard
descent
that.
in the world, and though the world was made through him, the world did not recognize him. He came to that which was his own, but his own did not. He was in the world, and though the world was made through him, the world did not recognize him. He came to that which was his own, but his own did not receive him. Yet to all who did receive him, to those who believed in his name, he gave the right to become children of God. Children born not of natural descent, nor of human decision or a husband's will, but born of God. A couple of weeks ago, we talked about how Jesus has always been here. He was here in the beginning of time, and he was here before everything began, and he's here with us right now. We sang it just now, Emmanuel, with us. So we were talking about John, and John is talking about John. And this is very confusing, particularly if you're very tired. But John is talking to us about John the Baptist. And John the Baptist is a very important figure in history. Now, John the Baptist probably was one of the first celebrities ever to exist. Everyone knew who he was. He was a very, very big deal. He was an Old Testament prophet who was living in the time of the New Testament, and he was even considered quite a controversial figure. You couldn't just ignore him. You couldn't just say to
Okay,
yourself, well, I don't care what he has
so
to say, because
that
what he had to
is
say
probably. Actually, let's go back and revisit and see if I actually got it.
to us about John the Baptist. And John the Baptist is a very important figure in history. Now, John the Baptist probably was one of the first celebrities ever to exist. Everyone knew who he was. He was a very, very big deal. He was an Old Testament prophet who was living in the time of the New Testament, and he was even considered quite a controversial figure. You couldn't just ignore him. You couldn't just say to yourself, well, I don't care what he has to say, because what he had to say was either going to change your life or not. He was assertive, he was a little bit dramatic, he was even a little bit brash.
Okay, so I think I got it, but I'm not too sure because it's harder to do this. There's another way I can do it on Reaper. Maybe I should. Let's try that. I'll be right back. So I downloaded um the this week's um sermon onto an MP3 file, and then I can see the wavelength of the whole sermon. I am guessing that song 1 here, song 2 here, song 3, that's offering, and then between here and here is probably the sermon, and then song 4, song 5, right? And within, I'm just scrolling up, this is probably the feedback that was happening. These are all feedbacks that are happening because pastor's voice is usually pretty small if you look at it. So let's see what we got.
So that through him all might believe. He himself was not the light. He came only as a witness to the light. The true light that gives light to everyone was coming into the world. He was in the world, and though the world was made through him, the world did not recognize him. He came to that.
So let's. This might hurt your ears a bit, so turn down the volume if you haven't already. We're gonna open up the effects. We're gonna go to EQ. We're gonna open up EQ. We're gonna see what's gonna happen.
He was in the world, and though the world was made through him,
I'm
the world
looping
did not
this section.
recognize him. He came to that which, and though the world was made through him, the world did not recognize him. He came to
See
that
over
which,
here?
and though the world was made through him, the world did not recognize him. He came to that which, and though the world was made through him, the world did not recognize him. He came to that which, and though the world was made through him, the world did not recognize him. He came to that which, and though the world was made through him, the world did not recognize him. He came to that which,
So
and though the world was made through him, the
that
world
is
did not
one of the
recognize
frequencies
him.
that happened on.
He came to
The
that
other
which,
one is over
and though
here.
the world was made through him, the world did not recognize him. He came to that which, and though the world was
here.
made through him, the world did not recognize him. He came to that which, and though the world was made through him, the world did not recognize him. He came to that which, and though the world was made through him, the world did not recognize him. He came to that which, and though the
there's
world
some
was
other
made
ones
through
over here,
him, the
too.
world did not recognize him. He came to that which,
Oh.
and though the world was made through him,
probably
the
have to
world did
see all
not
that.
recognize him. He came to that which, and though the world was made through him, the world did not recognize him. He came.
So that's how we find it. There's other parts where I think there was some. Let's listen to it.
But nobody had noticed him. Nobody had noticed that Jesus was already walking around, literally in the flesh. Nobody had noticed that.
Okay, so I actually wasn't there for this sermon. I don't know what this is. I actually don't know what that sound is.
Nobody had noticed that Jesus was.
But after it, I do hear this section. I'm not sure if you can hear it. Where's the volume?
Nobody had noticed. Nobody had noticed. Nobody had noticed.
Do you hear that?
Nobody had noticed. No.
Something like that. Let's reset default. Let's listen to this section again.
Nobody had noticed. Nobody had noticed. Nobody had noticed.
It's actually muted because it peaked.
Noticed. Nobody had 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 noticed.
So
Nobody had noticed. 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 Nobody
And it's
had
gone.
noticed. Nobody had noticed. Nobody.
Okay. So it's so easy on Reaper to learn. That's why I love using Reaper to learn all these. There's actually a way to keep adding different. I won't. No point showing you. You guys can figure it out. Just practice and try out different things. But you can add different bands, as many as you like, so that each of them can be a separate band. You can have 11 bands, you can have 50 bands, whatever you want, you know? That's what I'm trying to say. So that you have more control. So if you have the 11 bands, it's almost looking like where is it? Oh, wrong page. Next one. It almost looks like this, right? The more bands you have, this would equal this, right? You can just add more and then, move it around so that it'll look like this. Does that make sense? I hope it makes sense. If you don't understand, give me a shout, comment in the section below. Okay. The other thing is you're questioning is, well, I hear the feedback, and if only I can see it, right? Because you're thinking, I don't see it on this. Not even when I go to the meter section, go to the RTA section, and increase that decay to 3 seconds. I still don't see it. What else can I do? How do I get faster at this? This is what training helps. Okay? And what you are going to do, you need to either learn some fundamental frequencies, or you're going to have to download an app. What I used to do before is I went to YouTube and I would look up 400 hertz. And just listen to it. Which, the thing is, so yeah, this is why I don't upload anything. Everything just takes so long right now. I would look up 400 hertz. Alright? And I would play this for 20 seconds, 2 minutes, 5 minutes. I'll just listen to this. 1 minute. Okay? I won't listen to the whole 1 minute. But you got to practice your tones. You got to listen to it and remember it. Right? And so how does this help? Because you have now a place where you can start. Okay? Is it lower than this? Is it so that would be lower than the 400 hertz, right? Or is it which is higher than the 400 hertz, right? That's a baseline that you can use for the 400 hertz. You can use anything. You can find 1,000 hertz. Right? And just remember those. Can you still remember the 400? Right? 1,000? Somewhere up there. So these are frequencies that, the more you do, the more you should. And like the whole point is so that you're not struggling and you're not panicking when feedback comes. So the more you practice, it's for your benefit. Not like, I don't care. Like, when I'm not there, I rarely listen to the sermons, right? Because I need a break. So this is for whoever's coming up, right? It's like, it's for people, it's for the congregation as well, so that they can concentrate on the sermon and not concentrate on the noises and the feedback and whatever distractions that are coming out, right? So, it just, I don't want you to be in that panicking mode of, what can I do? I can't do anything. But here's some tools that I can give you to get better at these, right? Another thing is an app. I'll try and screen share again. It's called Audio Training. Oh, uh, let's see. Let me turn off Wi-Fi. Gosh. Let's try that again. So another thing is audio ear training that I found. You can listen to some. It can test you. So you press play, and it'll come out with a sound. So I think that's 1K. No, that's 500. Yeah, because it's lower. I can hear it. Ah, this one, my ear hurts. What is it? Nope. If it hurts my ears, I guess it's 4K. Oh, that's 4K again. 500. Oh, this one doesn't hurt my ears, but it's really high pitched. So it must be 8K kind of thing. I'm trying to get the 1K and the 2K. Maybe it's 1K? Yeah. Oh, it doesn't sound like the rest, so it's 2K. So practice this, something like this for 15 minutes, 20 minutes a day. By the end of the week, you'll have done 2 hours. So whenever, you have free time, whenever you're on the toilet, maybe, whenever you're on the bus, whenever you have free time, try it for a week. See how it goes, right? The whole point is to make you have confidence, make you pick it up faster so that you are more ready. But these are ways that you are able to get better. So I don't want you to feel as if there's nothing you can do. There's always something that we can do better. And then at the end of that, all those things, we still pray because God is still in control, right? So let's do our best. Let's pursue excellence in our own different ways. But here are a few avenues of which you can pursue it in. Yeah, good luck. I hope this helped you. Thanks for watching.